Just refresh some new headlines that are coming out from Japan media saying that this missile that was launched by North Korea fell in the Pacific Ocean at 7:16 a.m. local time, landed 2,000 kilometers off Japan's Aramo Misaki. Also, we're getting some headlines from Australia. Australia's Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull is saying that the North Korean missile launch is a dangerous criminal act. He's making these comments in an interview with Sky Television. So I want to get now to Chris Anstey from Tokyo, who is our editorial, our managing editor there in Tokyo. And Chris, what more do we know about this?
Well, it looks like this is yet another provocation from North Korea, not the first one that's targeted at Japan. Japan, you remember, was the subject of an ICBM launch that went over Hokkaido back in July. So not clear yet what type of missile this was, but yes, just yesterday, the North Koreans were voicing some provocations towards Japan, saying that Japan will sink into the Pacific Ocean and will be the target of nuclear weapons if it continues along the antagonistic lines against North Korea that it has taken. So, I mean, ultimately, what we're seeing is, the further demonstration from Kim Jong Un that he's prepared to continue with the missile firings, the nuclear tests, until he gets recognition that he's now a nuclear power.
Yeah, Chris, what are we watching out for in the hours to come in terms of these high-level talks? And I guess what more can they do, right? Because this is a missile launch that comes just weeks after another missile that flew over Japan.
Yes, I mean, it's hard to see the end game here. I mean, looking at, the comments from security analysts, it's very tough to see. I think most people probably agree with Russian President Putin that the North Koreans would be prepared to eat grass before they give up their nuclear weapons. So it's pretty clear that the North Koreans aren't going to do that. It's pretty clear also that the Chinese, the top ally of the North Koreans, top economic partner, aren't prepared to cut off the petroleum exports that would cripple the nation. So short of a unilateral strike by the U.S., which also seems hard to imagine, it's really hard to see how there's a climb down from North Korea.
And what do we read into the timing of this, Chris? This is several days after the UN sanctions. We had Bill Richardson on with us who said, expect that this is going to happen. I mean, as disturbing as this is this somewhat expected?
Well, actually, you might recall we were kind of expecting this last Saturday.
Right.
The 9th was the so-called Foundation Day of North Korea and was a natural kind of date for some act by North Korea. So we were all prepared last Saturday, and that then came and went. So maybe they're deciding to kind of keep us on our toes by mixing up the dates a little bit.